I spent most of my life feeling like an idiot because I couldn't understand how any of this works. Why everything was full of contradictions, why logic didn't apply, why it all felt meaningless and incomprehensible. I thought the problem was me, that I just wasn't smart enough to grasp the complexity everyone kept talking about. The whole existence felt like a cruel and unusual punishment. Turns out the problem wasn't my intelligence or lack thereof. The problem was that I was looking for logic in a system designed to be illogical. The world is complex. Is this a description of reality or a defense mechanism of the system? Let's look at who says this and when. This phrase gets deployed the moment you ask a direct question or point out a specific contradiction. Why does lying give you an advantage while honesty gets you punished? The world is complex. Why are papers more important than people? It's not that simple. Why does anyone have power over millions of people in the first place? Reality is multifaceted. Why is it acceptable that people controlling your reality have zero obligation to be smarter, more competent, or more honest than you? Why can any bureaucrat who doesn't give a shit about you destroy your life simply because they're having a bad day? The world is complex. Notice the pattern. It's a shutdown response. It doesn't explain anything concrete, but it creates the impression that an explanation exists. You're just thinking too simplistically to grasp it. The claim about complexity performs three functions simultaneously. First, it blocks analysis. If the world is complex, then your attempts to find cause and effect relationships are naive. You see that a system benefits a narrow group of people and disadvantages everyone else? Don't jump to conclusions. Everything is much more complicated than that. Second, it delegitimizes your experience. You notice a concrete pattern in your life or the lives of people around you. The world is complex. Your sample size is insufficient, your perspective is limited, and you're not accounting for numerous factors. Third, it creates dependence on experts. If the world is complex, you need specialists who understand this complexity. Psychologists, political scientists, economists, coaches, people who know more. And coincidentally, these are exactly the people getting paid to explain you why your life isn't working. Now, what's actually complex? Details of execution can be complex. Specific technical processes are complex. Writing an operating system is complex. Performing neurosurgery, rocket science, music theory, even worse than rocket science. Deciding what you want for breakfast, this is something I personally struggle with. But the basic mechanisms of power, manipulation, control, these are primitive to the point of embarrassment. Hierarchy, shame, artificial scarcity, three tools that get combined in different proportions, but the essence remains the same, keeping people in a state of manageability. So where does the complexity come from? It's manufactured. Look at any bureaucratic system. Getting a document requires 10 windows, 15 forms, 3 departments. The actual process of producing the document takes 5 minutes. Everything else is artificially created barriers, and you probably don't even need that document in the first place. The system simply requires compliance with protocols. The document exists to make you jump through hoops, to demonstrate that you'll obey arbitrary rules because the system demands it. So you get tired, so you feel dependent, so you thank the system for eventually helping you. Or take psychology. Basic human needs are simple: safety, autonomy, the ability to develop social connections without manipulation, but instead you're offered an endless maze of Childhood traumas, attachment patterns, cognitive distortions, a labyrinth of terminology that doesn't bring you closer to a solution but deepens your dependence on the therapeutic process. Take economics. The basic principle is simple. Whoever controls resources dictates the rules. But they'll tell you about the invisible hand of the market, macroeconomic indicators, inflationary expectations, monetary policy. They bury you in terminology until you forget the simple fact that a handful of people decide how to distribute wealth while everyone else gets crumbs and explanation for why this is correct. Real complexity has structure. You can break it down into elements, understand its logic, and learn it. Parasitic complexity is fog. The more you dig into it, the more it expands, and eventually you don't even remember what you started with. The world is complex is code for shut up and don't ask uncomfortable questions. It's a way to turn you into a passive observer of your own life, waiting for someone smart to explain how everything works. The world isn't complex. The world is designed to appear complex to those who ask questions and simple to those who control it. It is designed to make intelligent people feel like idiots by presenting absence of logic as complexity. Imagine trying to assemble a puzzle where someone switched the reference picture. You have all the pieces, but the image on the box shows something completely different. No matter how smart you are, no matter how long you stare at those pieces, you won't figure it out. It's not a difficult task. It's an impossible one with the information you've been given. You can't spell happiness using the letters F, U, C, and K. That's not complexity. That's a mismatch between the tools and the goal. But the moment you find the actual picture that corresponds to your puzzle pieces, everything clicks into place.